day all. Ira Epstein with your metals market wrap-up for Monday, the 9th of March, 2020, about 4:37 p.m. Central Time. Well, as you can see, gold up a fraction, but most of the other metals down as the stock market crash, and that's the right word, the stock market crash took place today. We are looking at markets down rather dramatically in stocks. So they in the vast majority, they closed under the two circuit breakers, off the lows, but still under the two circuit breakers. Gradual selling in gold as it hit 1,700, dropped back to 1,658, came back and settled okay, but just about everything else under pressure, including the copper, which got as low as 245.60, but closed near the day's high, still down 5 cents on the day. Energy markets, well, they got hit hard, and you're watching that gas up a little bit because the word it now is that is we see less production out of America, and believe me, $30 crude oil causes less production. You'll see that in time here. That means you're getting less of the byproduct, natural gas, which is a little bit friendly for that market in that case. Bonds and notes, this is not a misprint. You got up to 193.6. You closed 7 full points off of that. So if you think trading that's easy, you're talking $10,000 moves in a day. So in the gold market, when you look at it, it's still the best weekly close, and it's only Monday, I get it. But on a weekly basis, it's still up from last week, which makes it the best weekly close. This chart is better than the daily chart because the daily chart is just all over the board. What we had is one of these markets that came down hard, wiped everybody out, came back up, and now the question is, does it slip back a little bit from here? Interesting time. Another thing that some traders will see, and I don't think there's enough here to say this, but is that a shoulder and another shoulder, and they'll say a head? Well, if you measure from 1695 down to the 1560 level, you get $135. You add that back and you're into the 1830, 1840 zone is a possible count if traders believed in that count. I'm not one that's quite there at this point in time. When I look at what the swing line's doing, you see there is no trend as defined by a pattern of if it were up, higher lows, higher highs. You have a lower low and a vertical price rise. You've gone straight from 1564 all the way up to 1704. That is what I call a vertical rise. It didn't even pull back to let you in on a lower low day. Are you watching that? That's what you call power. The market's over the 18-day average of closes, where support comes back into this market in the 1527 level. When you take a look at Bollinger Bands, I have a theory, and I preach it, teach it in my charting course. The first time you hit a Bollinger Band, on Friday you did not. That high was 1694.20. It was today. That's where I think pros take money off the table, especially after you've returned first to the 18-day average. I like other averages too, but this one it's like a reset on a pinball machine. You get up to a Bollinger Band, you pull back to it in time. That to me is the reset. Now, that does not mean I'm necessarily going up to that price or you're going to go down to the lower band, but you're in a reset area. That's the key. You hit tilt, the game's live. Once the game's live, resistance, potential support. Market's moving. You know that this is Thursday, here's Friday, and what have I warned on each Monday? In fact, I was on Fox Business today talking about it. If you go back, just follow my concept here, to mid-January when the COVID-19 disease hit China. They are a communist country that have better controls than we do in telling people you're not going to move around, you're not going to do this or that, we're going to lock you in your apartment. You can't do that in America. It's taken them roughly to the first week of March where the case counts outside of that area are just about zero, and in that area they're down dramatically. I'm assuming their data is truthful. That's what, you may argue that, but just going by that part. In the U.S. and in Europe, especially in Europe and Italy, it's gotten rampant. Today, late in the day, Mr. Conte said no. It's not only all of the northern part of Italy that's going to be in this quarantine, it's everywhere in Italy. So you'll read about that tonight. This is unprecedented. He's mad at the young people going out in the bars after dusk. He's shutting them down across the country. The cafes across the country after certain hours. He's making people stay home if they can. If you have to work, he's saying that you got to prove it. I'm using this because at some point we don't know what's going to happen in America. That's pretty extreme, but it is Europe. This is a free country. I don't know what to expect. But I know that as the test cases go out, I'm not preaching this, but as more tests get done, more people will be found. If you backtrack them, more areas get confined. Think about it, and it's Mondays that we seem to get the craziness off that type of news. So today you backed off. Now the question is, does gold see a little correction to that? Because today was the big gun hitting it, as I like to call it. You're overbought, hit the upper Bollinger Band in a vertical price rise. That's my definition. The gold silver, as I've said, industrial metals, this is not that time and place for them. And you can see silver just continues to lose to the gold market. When you come to the silver, it certainly doesn't look like gold. This is an outside day down. Will the market be able to get to the lower Bollinger Band? The market finished off in oversold territory. I define oversold on the slow stochastic study, which is what SSTO is, any reading under 30. Now, to embed, both of these numbers have to go sideways under 20 in a bearish embedded case for several days. You're not there. Embedded means it locks in. Silver doesn't have a recent history of locking in embedding. Do you see that? It gets oversold and seems to turn away from it. So just a warning sign. Do I see a trend here? No. I got a higher high, that's the chart action, and a lower low. In the copper market, copper's trying to break out to the downside. Now, it did a nice job of fighting back. But if you get two closes under the lower Bollinger Band, you know what I think. Then I think you've got to break out to the downside. The market should fight tomorrow to reverse. And remember, it's Reversal Tuesday, as they call it. You had big market moves today. To get corrections to some of those could happen. Momentum pointing down, bias down, trend down. Everything's bearish, and this market's got momentum if it wants to carry lower. We'll see. What would negate my thinking? Getting right back over that Bollinger Band tomorrow. Then I question if the market's just going to leak its way here, or does it get back over this high that we made up here to have me have to regroup on the chart in my thinking at 262.50. That's a long way off from where you're at right now, but we'll see. In the platinum market, platinum could not hold today, so down away it goes. Is it trending? No. You have a lower low, which you've had, and a higher high. There's no trend at work. What about this, the momentum? Well, both numbers were under 20 today. Both numbers were under 20 on Friday. Both numbers were under 20 on Thursday, so we've had the embedded reading, and you've had it in place. That tells me on rallies up, the pros are selling the market. And they're using these rallies, in my opinion, to sell, even on a day like you had right here, until you lose that embedded reading, and that's what I expect they're doing. You had a bearish crossover back here where the 18-day, as you can see, got under the 100. You're looking for a new low for the move. This would be the target. Did the market finally get to it? Well, it's challenging it, that's for sure. In the Palladium, you made your first challenge of the lower Bollinger Band. You got as low as 2250, 2254 is that number. The market finished 2405. What do I teach? First challenge of the lower Bollinger Band. First challenge of the upper. I think the pros either come out, move stops down. They're not letting that thing get away from them. Could you get one of these pops? Of course. That's why the skill is in, do you get out? First of all, if you're trading one contract at a time, you almost don't have a choice. You got to come out. What's the margin on this? Remember what I told you? $28,000. I don't think there's a lot of traders in it. In the dollar index, you've got lower highs, lower lows. This has been a free fall market, if you will. Are we embedded yet? Both numbers under 20 today, both under 20 the day before and the day before. So today, you got the embedded reading. That gives me reason to believe that on the first rally back over the Bollinger Bands, I'm going to look for traders to be selling over that up to that 100-day average, and they will abandon that idea if they lose the embedded reading. As you can see, the boards have now cleared, so We're getting ready for that 5 o'clock reopening. This is probably the best time I know to tell you, start looking at what our firm writes. You might want to listen to the oral updates throughout the day. You're hearing years. I'm not talking 10 years. Each person that's going up on these has many years of experience in the market. You know, we got our gray hair, but we've been through this. I've been through the 80s with the stock market crashes. I've seen what goes on in the 90s. I've been around the Iraqi war. I've been around the 9/11 events. You have to learn when to keep your hands in your pocket, when you want to take a risk. Do you carry risks over a certain time frame? These weekends, you have to listen a little bit, okay? You don't have to follow. You have to listen. There's a big difference. There's a difference between hearing an opinion and following it. You make your own decisions. How do you get our information? Go to our website. You'll see on the right-hand side it says free reports and so on, free offers. Click on there. You can click up here if you're watching me on YouTube, and we'll get everything to you. I'm Ira Epstein. You have a good day.